Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh. What is the abomination of desolation? Just came up on a chat. These guys were talking theology, and I dropped some seeds, and people went into shock. Chat kind of shut down. Somebody said, "Kaboom!" So I hope it's taken. I had to leave. They were TMI'd out after me. You can see when the stream gets stuck and everybody gets like clam. It's like, dude, are we clamming over here? What's going on? Speaking of which, clamming. We don't need to clam up. But, we're trying to get everybody reeled in. And some of them, when they clam up, they might be, not understanding, a little foggy still. So you just pray for them. You do the Quaker thing. So we do a little, I don't know if we went over this. I hope we did somewhere, but sorry if I'm being too redundant. Some don't get it on some of my catchy titles, so if we get redundant, it's all good things, hopefully, and it helps you grow. So since we are all trees and we're soaking things in, it's very important what you're taking in, okay? Since hypnosis is really big, the King's hypnosis works great. All you need to do is put on audio Bible and listen to it and drill it into your 2 ears. And that demon thing, it resists that and takes off and goes away, and the peace of God can come. You see, because the true peace that's with the King, it surpasses all understanding and gives you that abundant life. And then you can be free indeed, because if the truth makes you free, you will be free indeed. So how free are you? And it's not about, oh dear, have I been too sinful? It's not about that. He already knows everything, literally. But the more that you think you know, the less that you make him look like he knows, if you get what I mean. Because unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees, you have no part in the kingdom. And whores, as in working ones, along with IRS agents. I don't know about modern ones. But do you see what I'm saying? So just get a 3rd grade mind and remember, he said, let the children come unto me, for theirs is the kingdom. And if we've got 72 million other ones ready to eat some cookies, I'm ready to make some organic shortbread. So just so you don't think I'm all nuts, why don't you get some good Kerrygold butter, okay? And then find yourself some good organic flour, whatever it is, with no yeast at all, so you don't get cookies that might make you misunderstand an unbeast marked heart. Because you see, these cookies are all goodness and stuff that goes through you, not gets you messed up. So let's say you make these organic cookies and you just give them away. That's what I've always done. Someday I might sell them, but right now is not a good thing to try to make money. But if you had some good cookies that were actually good for you, well, that might make you easier to be a cookie as you love one another. So why don't you just try this little trick if you like cookies and you don't have fear of too much sugar. you can go the Scottish way. Because you see, my bloody fine friend, I've got a little Scottish blood that gives me a right to kind of talk that way, and I just do love Shakespeare so. On with the recipe. Because this has to have a little tribute to my friends in the baking world, like who I think will be in the kingdom, like Bruce and Lynn, who do live such a beautiful karma life in Rancho Santa Fe. And she worked at that beautiful Chino's Market by Willow Creek Ranch. It's a beautiful place. But over there is that Evergreen Ranch. It's not so nice, but we don't want to talk about that right now. We're kind of into the good kingdom vibe. So anyway, as you get that Shakespeare, kind of frame of mind with that kind of karma, like et tu, Brute, for those who think they're king, but they're not. Well, that murder, see, it happened already, and Caesar was, well, his name was Jesus, and they murdered him and said, hey, he's not king, you can't say he's king. Well, he was king, they said. That's what he wrote. That's what they wrote. They said, well, that's it. It's kind of like Caesar, he was king, And so now, a lot of people, well, they were part of this, like, scheme. Kind of like Absalom, if you've learned about him. He just wanted to take David's kingdom and was just going to, like, steal it real quick. It's like a real quick undercover thing. kind of maybe Trump could have been, like, King Saul reincarnated, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Because, I mean, hey, Elijah was. And John the Baptizer. So whoever says there's no reincarnation, they're just nuts. Because Jesus even said it. So anyway, back to that lovely recipe that I just so love to talk about for hours on end. Because made a heater. If you like to bake, you must know the queen of baking, who, what the heck? Well, let's just say that in the kingdom, she's probably going to be baking cookies like shortbread, because she's got her own shortbread too, but I haven't made that one yet. But she's shown me some really good stuff to make. But anyway, I think she's going to be baking in the kingdom along with my Grandma Fern. And so if you know any bakers or you're into baking, I think there will probably be really good cookies in the kingdom, just because I don't think they're evil like when my grandma made them when I was a kid. But then, of course, they were like Amish style, like, organic to the 10th degree. So that was before all this Jimmy Carter peanut farmer or organic stuff got deleted, because, peanut farmers, well, especially lazy ones. But anyway, that's another thing altogether. That shortbread, yes, with made a heater. Oh, her books, I'm telling you, they read like a novel. She's got stories for every recipe. It's just beautiful. Like, if you were going to write a cookbook, it's like the best golden rule cookbook you've ever read. I mean, wow. So anyway, so you take that flour and you get like I think it's 6.5 cups, something around there. And then you'd get 1.5 pounds. That's right. Maybe a tad bit less if you don't like too much butter, which I like a lot. I like it to be like so greasy. Oh, it just tastes so lovely. Especially with that butter that's like so good for you that Bulletproof Coffee is even made with it. So what the heck, right? Why not? So then you take that and you put it with your sugar, which is, you can go 1.5 cups, but you gotta use, well, brown is best, but you can make your own brown. That's another little secret. If you just have white, well, you just throw in a little molasses. It's all good. But all these things should be organic, of course, because you don't want to kill anybody. Even a little bit of rat poison isn't good for people, after all. I mean, what the heck? So then you take your, the old school way, if you want to do it, is to stir it with a spoon, but you can use a little mixer just to get that butter into that sugar real good. And then the main thing is you just mix in the flour. You could even do it maybe in a food processor, You want it cold, but not too cold. It's kind of a nice trick. After a while, you get used to it. And then you just throw in your white chocolate. And however you like. Some take it a little too sweet, some take it a little too light. It says to put very little, but it depends on your white chocolate. And that's the other thing. Organic white chocolate is really hard to find, but if you look really hard and you can't get organic, just look at the ingredients, because there's faux white chocolate everywhere. It's really sad. People, companies like Nestle, and you see what they've done? They've taken chocolate and created a fake thing with vanilla and that WD-40 oil they call vegetable oil. That stuff's like drinking WD-40. That's what it does to your body. It's just evil. So here's the thing. You make some of these cookies, right? However you like it best. And you bake that at like 400. Around there. Sometimes if you get a little nervous the first time, put it down to like 380 or so. So you get it just that. But the thing about shortbread, it's a Scottish thing, you see. It's got to be just right. And so it's like, it gets just like the smell in the air. And I've probably made it 100 times and never used a timer, you see. I just go by my nose, like that old Fruit Loops commercial. The nose knows when it's ready because it smells like you cannot not eat it right now. And when you see it in the oven, it's just perfect. It's golden, just rich with the little bubbles from the butter. Oh, it just makes you just... I must try it now. And there have been many times when I've taken it out of the oven and just cut myself such a lovely piece. And, well, I burned my tongue a bit, but it was worth it, I tell you, because it was so bloody good. So, when I ever give that away, I've never had any problems at all. They've even had people offer me to pay me for the recipe. I got it for free, so I said, no, here you go. If you want to do a favor for me, hey, that's all good. But then that's what it's all about. See, it's all about the golden rule. So that's the little golden rule thing that I'm trying to do for you. And it's all truth, and it's all good, and you can try it, and you'll like it. If you just remember that golden rule that is from Scotland still, with all organic food to this day. They didn't like that Jimmy Carter idea. They thought it might be something to do with lazy farmers. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting that you want to do things the Scottish way, you see? So just follow that golden rule to the T. And you can make some of these cookies and try them out, and you can tweak the recipe. I always tweak recipes. That's the fun thing about baking, you see, because cooks... Well, we can do another video on that. I love cooking, you see. But I don't know how everybody is, so I don't want to push you one direction or another. But baking cookies is so much fun, and everybody likes them. It's so easy to do. But just imagine if you liked to do it, and you made these cookies, and everybody you saw, whether you know them or not, and you have them, and you say, hey. Because that's a great story, you see, about, like, Maida Hita. She helped open a bakery. And it was over there in Rancho Santa Fe called, what was it called? Well, now it's Time in the Ranch, but before it was El Sol Bakery. It's in one of Maida's books, but I can't remember. It was owned by that Lynn and Bruce. They were like my true friends. I actually painted their house a few times. But anyway, I get too many things, you know. Anyway, when they opened this bakery, they had this cookie. And it was a beautiful cookie. It's actually a good one that I make chocolate ones, but I don't know the recipe off the top of my head. But I think that Barefoot Contessa makes one really, really close. But anyway, when they opened that bakery, that chocolate cookie was really popular with an old